Hey, Andre, there's been a lot of talk. I mean, a lot of talk about certain trucks that are new, and I would say maybe too much talk in some ways.
Or not enough.
Or not enough, yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly right. In this video, we're going to be talking about the most over and underhyped trucks on the market today. And I think the more interesting one is overhyped. So let's start with underhyped.
Okay, well, I like this because I like finding out things that I may not expect, right? And this is, I think, what underhyped pickup trucks are about.
Yeah, and we're also talking about a few other things here, right? We're talking about rated and over and underrated, and we're talking about value.
Yes.
Because that all kind of, it's all kind of part of the bigger picture that we're going to be discussing. So let's just jump right into it, and let's give you the ones that we think are underhyped. In other words, there's probably a lot of value there that some people are seeing, but some people are not.
Yeah, and so I'm pulling up a picture of this first one, okay?
Yep.
What is it?
It's the Nissan Frontier because I've got the list right in front of me.
Yes.
So we think it's very much underhyped because the truck is one of the few new midsize trucks now that still has a V6. There's some others, but they're a dying breed.
Yeah.
And it's just a basic and very honest truck.
Yeah, and when it came out, it was big news, right? So 2022, all new generation. It's been a long time since it was redesigned. But then it kind of fell out of news, right?
Yeah, I remember.
But it's still great.
I remember when we went to the program, it was in Salt Lake City. We drove it. Obviously, there was, the base truck and the top of the line was Pro 4X. But somehow, unlike all the other manufacturers, they didn't create any special editions. There's no high performance variant for the truck like the TRD Pro has, right? Or now the new, what's the new one? The new, I can't think of it.
The Trail Hunter.
The Trail Hunter, exactly.
Tacoma, yeah.
Yeah, or the Raptor or the ZR2, right? None of that. It's just kind of flown under the radar, and that's a shame because the bones of it are really good.
Yeah, because like you said, it's V6, 9-speed automatic. They have long bed, short bed. They have short cabs, crew cabs. Still a really good value truck.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the problems is that when it came out, it was at where all the midsize trucks were at. But now with all the new midsize trucks, it may have already fallen a generation behind.
Yeah, but still, check it out.
Yeah, I would definitely check it out. And I hope it doesn't go the way of the other one, the last generation, in that, they start playing to the value aspect. In other words, it becomes the least expensive alternative, which in a way also I think cheapens the truck. Mm-hmm. And I think the truck is better than that.
Yeah, agree. And hopefully not just Nismo off-road parts, but hopefully they'll create an actual trim.
Yeah.
Right? A performance trim for that truck.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the most important thing for a lot of truck guys and gals is power, right? Because it gives you more towing, it gives you more hauling, and, what's the horsepower? I think it's right around 300 if I remember
Yeah,
right.
310. But nonetheless, I think they need the presence. But what's next on our list? Number 4.
All right, number 4 is a series of trucks.
Okay.
Not just one truck. It's a series of trucks. And what I mean by series, it's a model designation. So let me give you the 3 model designations, okay? In Ford, it's the F-150 Tremor.
Okay.
With the Chevy, it's the Silverado Trail Boss. And with the Ram, of course, 1500, it's the Rebel. And I think what's happened, Andre, is that, with the Ford, the Raptor has overshadowed the Tremor. Obviously, the ZR2 overshadows the Trail Boss, and
the TRX.
The TRX overshadows the Rebel. And these are really good trucks because we had a long-term Trail Boss, and it did everything we asked of it and more.
Yeah, it towed well. It had really good clearance, had great traction, great tires, great off-road performance. And now you can get a trail bus with a diesel engine. How cool is that, right? It's really great.
Yeah, and I forgot the CRA T4, so I'm sorry for all you GMC fans.
It's the GMC brother.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everybody focuses on the top-end off-road spec, but these, I would call them mid-level off-road specs, will do 95% of what you will ever want to do without, some severe butt clenching.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
And they're also much more affordable. right? And they're much more gettable because one of the things that, of course, has happened over the last 3 years is that certain trims have become unobtainium. I was just looking at Craigslist, which I do probably too often, or Facebook Marketplace. TRXs, dude, they're still going. Used ones are still going for well over $90,000.
Yeah.
And while I love the Hellcat powertrain, $90,000 for like a 3-year-old TRX, that seems, because look, trucks are meant to be used.
Right.
And those, remember when we were in Texas, we saw a TRX hauling basically garbage around.
Yeah, and it had bent bed, like the bed sides were bent in.
Yeah, people will drive hard and use them hard. So, you could get a really nice Ram Rebel for $20,000 or $30,000 less than a used TRX.
And you still have a V8, right? You still have capability. You still have the look, all of that
All
stuff.
right. What's number 3?
Number 3 is a vehicle that may be dying.
Yeah,
because it's
going away.
underhyped.
Yeah, go for it.
It's the Jeep Gladiator Eco Diesel. So the V6 diesel turbocharged engine in the Gladiator midsize truck.
So let's get the bad part out of the way right away, and that is payload.
Yeah.
Because diesels are heavy, it doesn't have a lot of payload. So, if you were hoping to use it as an overlanding or / camping truck and you're going to put a big camper in it or you were going to stuff it full of stuff, basically you put 4 people and a big dog in there, you're
Pretty much done.
you're pretty much done with the payload. I think it's right around 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But the positive is monstrous torque, right?
Incredible torque.
And efficiency also.
And efficiency.
Yeah.
And so, let's look at it this way. You want to lift your truck 4 or 5 inches and you want to slam some 37s or dare I say 40s underneath it, what's going to happen is if you've got that Pentastar, you're going to need to supercharge it, turbocharge it, because it's not going to be able to turn those big old tires. But the diesel,
Right.
Oh my God, you can go as crazy as you want with that thing, and that thing will have torque in spades so that you will never have the issue of feeling like the vehicle is underpowered.
Yeah, and also if you get the Rubicon version, of course, you have the gearing, right? You have the lower range, you have the axles, and it's really, really good bones. And you can take the top off.
Yeah, the convertible truck.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on. Who else makes the convertible trucks? I would say if you're one of those guys who loves, making your truck look off-roady, or if you're one of those guys and gals who wants to make it really off-roady by going to the biggest and baddest sized tires, get one of those Gladiators before they're gone because they are doing away with them. And unlike many off-roaders, I actually see them in dealerships. I think that they kept building Gladiators while even Wranglers were not being built.
So maybe the value is there.
Is
right?
there, yeah.
So that's really important.
I just drove it at Jeep Safari, and I'd forgotten how good it was until I started putting around off-road with it. Oh my God, it's so good. And that diesel sound, Andre, there's nothing like it.
Yes, nice. So number 2 on our list of underhyped is another Stellantis product.
Well, you've got Power Wagon here. I don't think the Power Wagon is underhyped.
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about the Tradesman Power Wagon.
Now I'm seeing where you're going.
So nobody talks about this, but still, to this day, you can go online and configure and order a Ram Crew Cab heavy-duty truck, 2500 with a Hemi V8 in a Tradesman work spec. It's a work truck, but you can add a Power Wagon goodies on it. The Power Wagon package is around $8,000.
So what are we talking about in terms of starting price? They catch you off guard?
Yes. So the Power Wagon costs about 8,000 pounds, $8,000, and you get the axles, the lockers, the disconnecting sway bar, a little bit more articulation, and you get a winch. And the tires that the Power Wagon comes with. And I think it's probably around 55-ish.
So what you're saying is if you don't have to have a lot of fancy old leather
and fancy grills
and Western chrome and Western style barbed wire interiors, just get the Tradesman version and you get all the capability without all of the let's call it all of the glamour and glitz.
Yeah, and it's kind of under radar in some respects, but still very successful. The government buys a lot of them. For example, like Border Patrol, Forest Service, utility companies, because it has a really great off-road capability. Hemi V8, 8-speed automatic. What else do you want?
Number 1.
Yes.
So this one, I'm going to give you guys a little hint here. Year-to-date sales of this truck are up 35% so far.
What?
Yeah, and we'll talk about why that is, or why we think that is. So far, they've sold 23,000 of these trucks, and here's the problem. I said trucks. A lot of you guys and gals out there don't consider it a truck, and maybe that's why it's underrated. What vehicle are you speaking about?
Well, it's a pickup.
It's a pickup.
It's got a bed.
Yep.
It's a Honda Ridgeline.
Exactly, the Honda Ridgeline.
Yes.
The most SUV-like of all the pickup trucks.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a pilot with a bed. But man, talk about some thoughtful engineering. Talk about that Honda goodness in terms of the way that engine drives, right? You've got that tailgate that flips down and opens up. You've got that under bed storage. They were one of the first to do the composite bed.
Right.
It's just got so much clever engineering. It's kind of like the Maverick before there was a Maverick.
Yeah, and it's also really comfortable suspension. Seats are really comfortable. There's actually like elbow room.
Elbow room,
like
yeah.
When you and I are in the Honda Ridgeline, we actually feel like we're in a full-size truck.
And dude, I took that thing. Remember we did a comparison of all the midsize trucks, and we took it up the windy road up I-70.
Yes.
And I was driving it. It's like the little, I'm going to call it the Ferrari of pickup trucks because it handles so well, right? It's got independent suspension. It's just a really, really good utility and sporty and comfortable and smart and thoughtful. Just a lot of things.
But we have to mention a couple of negatives.
Like?
5,000 pounds maximum towing.
Yes.
Other mid-sized trucks will tow much more. And also the ground clearance. I mean, it's got an amazing all-wheel drive system, but the ground clearance, I think they could give it more ground clearance.
Well, didn't it overheat on us?
Well, that was the transmission.
Okay, the transmission overheated. We took it off road.
So there are a couple of little things.
But that was before the HPD version.
Right.
So I'm hoping that we haven't actually taken it off road seriously since then.
But still, it's underrated. Nobody really talks about it, but it's getting a lot of success, and it's really
And the reason
nice.
we think it's getting a lot of success, remember I said 23,000 so far this year, is because once upon a time, it was one of the more expensive mid-sized trucks. But guess what's happened, Andre? Mid-sized trucks, actually all trucks have gotten crazy expensive.
Yeah.
So
and
now,
the Honda's been kind of floating in there.
yeah, so now what once again was a very expensive truck is now just, priced at where everybody else is or slightly below everybody else. So maybe that's also another reason. Or maybe, with the advent of the Maverick and the Santa Cruz, what's happening is more SUV people are getting into pickup trucks. Mm-hmm. Either way, it's doing really well. All right, Andre, this is, I think, the part that everybody has been waiting for. And this is the part that we're going to have a little bit of fun with.
Yeah.
The 5, actually, we got a bonus 6 most overhyped trucks. And unsurprisingly, a lot of them are electric. So let's start with number 5.
Number 5 is the 2024 Chevy Silverado EV.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Where do we begin?
Let's begin when it was supposed to be available to purchase.
The spring of 2023.
It's the spring of 2023, Andre.
Let me check. We have about,
We're almost
2 weeks, 3 weeks
Yeah,
left?
we're almost at the summer of 2023, and yet it's not available.
Right. So we actually pre-ordered one.
Yes.
Because we wanted to be kind of on this train.
And we want to get the work truck.
We wanted to get the work truck, but they announced, right, $40,000 version.
Like Ford did with the Lightning. Yeah.
That
Pro.
That one is not available to order at all. The most available work trucks, they call them WTs.
Yeah, so there's just to let you know, there's a 1WT, a 2WT,
Three,
like LT, and
yes.
the same thing, 3 WT
four.
and 4 LT. And which ones are they building? Let me guess, it's not the 1WT.
It's the 4 and 3, which are the most optioned, the biggest batteried, the most expensive. The 4WT work truck starts at $78,000.
So needless to say, we walked away from our reservation. As much as we wanted to test it, we couldn't just get over the fact that a work truck at $70,000+ is no longer a work truck. It may be electric and it may be utilitarian, but a work truck it ain't.
No, because affordability has to be part of the equation,
Exactly.
right?
You're exactly right.
And then, of course, they recently said, oh, it has great range, 450 miles on a big battery Silverado EV, but that doesn't really matter because they're not available yet.
Yes.
So that's where overhyping comes in.
Yeah, I know. And let's talk about the range, right? You said 400 miles?
Well, so they recently updated it to
Yes.
450, which is really, really great.
It's really good.
Right, because basically what they have is the Hummer EV battery in a more aerodynamic package. So that's great news. But once again, it's going to be expensive and also ungettable.
And I would also say these range numbers, you guys know this, take them with a giant grain of salt because if you live in a place like Colorado and it gets cold, that 450 is going to be significantly lower.
But if it doesn't get cold, we have less air resistance up here. So you can maybe push.
We've owned enough
push
EVs
further.
to know that the two don't balance out in the winter. At
But
least.
then there's charging too.
Yes,
That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, then you can, the bigger the battery, the longer you're going to charge it, which we knew because we owned a Hummer EV for quite a bit. All right, let's go to number 4, and this is a truck that we actually own. It's the Ford F-150 Raptor R, and I'm a little torn on this one because I love the truck, Andre. Every time I drive it, I feel like I am the king of the road, but there is no denying the fact that it was overhyped. Basically, they did what everybody wanted, which is stick a V8 into the Raptor. Sounds glorious, 700 horsepower-ish of power, but overhyped, hell yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean,
everybody...
you'd have to have rockets at this point to meet all the expectations.
So they put an amazing engine in there.
Yes.
The 5.2-liter supercharged V8, they call it the Predator, right?
Yep.
It revs so fast, right? You and I have been driving it. It's an amazing engine. I smile every time I get into it. But the starting price is $110.
So there's the value calculation.
The value is not quite there,
Yeah.
even though it's a really, really amazing vehicle. And then they've also had some shortages, right, on parts and other things.
They're unobtainium,
And they're not actually being delivered.
Yeah, I think, to hype something up, you want scarcity. Right, so Ferrari does a great job of this. Porsche is doing a great job of this.
Lamborghini.
But you also want to be able to actually then get the vehicles into the hands of the customers. And this is where the scarcity thing breaks down, because if you can't actually get the one you ordered, at some point you're going to be like, you know what, I'm just going to get a TRX.
Or something else.
Or something else, yeah.
I don't know, get a G-Wagon.
Yeah, or I don't know what you would compare it. A Super Duty, maybe?
Yeah.
You might. For that money, you could get the most kitted out
Super Duty of them all. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a dually for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is going to have more torque, if not more horsepower.
Right.
So as much as I love the truck, it's definitely overhyped. It does what it says it does, but the problem is, like I said, affordability and attainability, and both those are way off the scale. All right, and number 3 you've also owned. What is it, Andre?
Yeah, and it has similar problems. It's the Hummer EV, both the truck and to some extent the SUV version as well.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, there is a new color there. Tell me about that one.
It's the Omega.
It's the Omega. I guess we had the Alpha. Not the 8.
So it's the same problem, right? So first of all, affordability. They started with the most expensive one, right? It was the Edition 1 truck that we owned, $113,000 to begin with. Then scarcity. In the first quarter of this year, they delivered 2.
Yeah, I kind of wish we hadn't sold it now.
2 vehicles. I mean, there are more Rivians being sold, like daily.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then they announced the SUV Omega, which is kind of a special edition of the SUV in this gorgeous blue color. But once again, it's unobtainium.
Yeah, it's complete unobtainium, it's basically the same thing as a Chevy Silverado, right? I don't want to beat a dead horse, but same problem. And I got to tell you, Andre, even though the truck left me stranded twice, I did love that truck. I've got a weird criteria for expensive cars, and that is, does it make you feel special when you drive it?
Yes.
And I couldn't pull up to a Charger. Or a parking lot without being swamped by people just loving that truck. So there is a lot of rock star appeal to it, but like any rock star, it's overhyped, and it's hard to maintain that in the truck world. So let's go down to number 2.
Yep, it's a truck we saw in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, so me and Andre did a video, which we just loved, and we want to thank Ram for letting us do this. It was like we did this at midnight before they unveiled it. It was the Ram 1500 REV, the electric truck.
The concept.
The concept, yeah.
Yes.
And it was mind-blowingly phenomenal. I mean, I've never seen as much new and technical innovation rammed into a truck. So not only did it have the largest frunk in the business, but the frunk actually had kind of like
the Bollinger.
Yeah, where you could actually open up a section so you could stick stuff through into the cabin, like if you had a long 2x4 or something.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it had a midgate too, right? So the
like the Silverado.
Yeah, the back end of the truck, not the tailgate, where normally the rear window is, that also folded down.
Yeah.
Then it had, get this, seating for 6, 3-row seating.
Yeah. With little jump seats in the back.
Yeah,
as well.
And then it had like a little console, a little display that you could actually move.
Like a movable tablet.
Like an iPad. Yeah, like a movable tablet. And these are just some of the things, that the vehicle had. We were completely blown away. We were like, wow, Ram is like hitting on all electrons. I was going to say cylinders, but it doesn't have cylinders.
And it had amazing lights, amazing shape, right? It was just
Beautiful.
It was out there.
That Coke bottle shape. I was
Yeah.
like, take my money. And then a month later, they unveiled the real one, and it was basically the current version electrified. I mean, I'm being kind of
No. Let me
honest, but it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, let me show that.
Yeah.
It was basically kind of the body of the current Ram 1500, just stuffed full of batteries and electric motors.
So I think the problem there was if they had unveiled the original concept a year before, then people would have forgotten about it. But it was fresh on our minds, and we were like, where's all that innovation? Where's all the cool stuff we just saw? And it wasn't there.
And not to say that the new Ram
Nothing
won't
wrong
be
with
cool.
it. No, it's
But it's also going to be on sale in Q4 2024, which last time I checked is still a year and a half away.
yeah. At that point, you think they could have built the concept, or at least incorporated some of the engineering into the concept.
So anyway, so that was overhyped.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll see how that goes from here.
Yep. All right. Number one,
The most overhyped
another
vehicle.
electric truck. I don't think it's going to be a stretch for you guys to imagine what this is, because it's been delayed
Over and over.
I was at the launch of the thing where Mr. Musk broke it immediately on stage
By throwing something at it.
And of course, we're talking about the Tesla Cybertruck. Yeah. I think they're finding out that to design that is one thing, but to build it is another thing. And it's got so much hype around it, right? I remember I was in the bathroom and I was overhearing conversations, and people were like, "Yeah, I just reserved 10 of them because I reserved one for my mom, one for my brother." And I'm like, "Okay." And I think they had like 250,000 reservations.
At least in the first week.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, people
And
just lost their, what?
you know who else pre-ordered one or reserved one? It was me.
Yes, we have a reservation.
Yeah, we have a reservation. But you know what?
What?
Zero communication.
Gosh darn it.
Zero. No. Like an email
Andre,
from Tesla.
you are so right. Car manufacturers and truck manufacturers are so bad at communicating with their customers. These are not hand raisers. This was $100.
Yeah, I gave money.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. If they got 250,000 reservations at 100, that's $25 million if
Yeah,
I'm doing
bam.
like that. And like they can't even send you an email saying, "Hey guys, by the way,
It's being delayed until next or whatever.
we're improving the rear windshield wiper." So it's taken a little bit. At least come up with something to justify the fact that this thing has now been delayed for 3 years?
Or just say, hey, we're opening a new factory in Texas. Do you want to come by and see it? No, nothing.
No, but
Nothing.
none of these. How was your communication on your Colorado before you got it?
Very poor.
Same
also.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I ordered the Colorado, exciting thing, ordering a new pickup truck. And then it was built and there was no news.
Yeah, so the funniest one is we always do this. I'm not saying we're buying them, but we always try to order them. So people want to know how we get these trucks. When order books open, our standard operating procedure is we always order it, because whether we buy it or not, we want to have that option. So we just ordered the Ineos Grenadier, and I got an email back from saying, you'll be able to pick this vehicle up at your Colorado Springs dealer, which doesn't exist.
Well, at least they're honest.
At least, which is coming soon. I'm like,
Yeah. That's good. That's
so
okay.
I've ordered the truck, but there is no way to deliver it to me right now because there's no dealership. We are living in interesting times, Andre.
Yeah.
All right. So
But there's a bonus.
So, didn't you talk about I'm getting a little too excited. Did you talk about the money? How much it cost when it came out?
Well, Elon started this. Well,
Yeah.
maybe the most successful thing he did that night is he woke up Ford.
Yeah.
He made Ford, realize that electrification was important. And he also said $40,000,
Yes.
right, was going to be the beginning price of the Cybertruck. And that woke up General Motors, everybody. And everybody tried to match that, right? Because Ford said $40,000, GM said $40,000. But now we're looking at this, and it's going to be more like $80,000 or $90,000. Because they're going to build the most fancy one, right?
Hey, let us know in the comments below. What's your guess as to the starting price of the Cybertruck? I'm going to go with the base one. I'm going to go with that number.
Is that 6.4?
6.9.
6.9.
$69,000. And you know why?
Why?
Because Musk loves these really weird, sexy things. I'm serious.
I know.
Right?
Model 3, Model
sexy
S.
cars.
Yeah, sexy.
He took Twitter and made it into Titter. So I'm going with 69 as the starting price, just because that's how he thinks.
So $40,000 is out the window.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah, it's gonna be different. And so for all of you reservation holders, I hope you have another at least $30,000 in the budget, because I think there's no. And even if there is a $40,000 one, it will never be built in at least my lifetime. Maybe yours. You're younger.
Or maybe used.
All right. As always, we like to do a bonus. What's the bonus, Andre?
Well, it's the Rivian truck.
Man, all these electric trucks.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do we have a problem? I mean, they're building them. People are getting them. So why are we saying it's overhyped?
It's actually a good quality first vehicle for a new company.
Yes,
right?
incredible. They got it so right out of the box. And actually, they started all this, right? Because we were there in L.A. when they took reservations for these. And we were like, well, this is weird. What's this company, Rivian, you know? And then it just blew up out of the stratosphere.
Wildfire.
Yes. Yeah, people were reserving them left and right. It became the hottest commodity in the automotive world. But there were problems.
But also, now they're selling them like the most expensive versions once again.
Exactly. Once again, people ordered the dual motor. All you could get until, well, they said they finally built their first dual motor this week.
Yeah.
All you could get was the expensive one. So, when we were at the LA Auto Show, they had pricing, but you want to get a Rivian R1T, you're going to...
It was like a $2,000 reservation, first of all.
$2,500.
Yeah.
You want one now? It's going to cost you at least $90,000.
And then, of course, you have to wait. The good thing about Colorado, at least, they have a big service center, right, in Denver. And a lot of people around Denver area have purchased SUVs, as R1Ss or R1Ts. But once again, very expensive and not enough of them.
Well, and another thing, this is what they took a page out of Tesla's notebook. And it blew up on them, right? So what Tesla does is they come and they certainly overhype a lot of their things. And full self-driving is a great example of that. Another one that is probably the best example, even better than the Cybertruck, is a Roadster, right?
My gosh!
Yeah, they took $250,000 reservations.
I know. And then nothing happened.
Nothing. And Rivian kind of did the same thing with the camping kitchen. Remember there was
now it's the camping kitchen,
like this $6,000 camping kitchen and the tank turn, right?
Yes.
That was supposed to be part of it.
And they're like, never mind.
No camping kitchen.
Sorry.
Tank turn, too dangerous. And I think that is a classic example of overhyping, or another way you could say that is over-promising and under-delivering. And that's what really this list is about.
Yeah. There you have it.
There you have it, guys. Let us know in the comments below any other vehicles that we may have missed, specifically trucks.
Or engines, maybe.
Yeah.
Or powertrains.
Yeah. What else do you think is overhyped? And, of course, check out alltfl.com if you want to stay tuned to all of our news, views, and reviews on all of our different channels. And, Andre, you're doing something fun next week. What's that?
Yeah, so check out TFL EV channel. Yes, we talked about some electric trucks here, but electric cars are in full force, right?
Yeah, so...
we're going coast to coast, D to D, another cannonball.
Yeah, so Nathan and I tried to set the Disney to Disney, and we picked California to Florida because obviously the traditional cannonball is from New York to Santa Monica, but we didn't want to break the law. We wanted to make this in the TFL way where it's interesting because the faster you go in an electric car, the more power you burn, so the longer you have to charge. But Andre and Tommy are taking our Tesla Model 3 Performance, and they're going to try to break mine and Nathan's record going across country, going from basically California to Orlando.
Yeah, because you said a 46-hour, 46-minute... that was a big feat.
Yep.
That's the current record to go cross country in an electric car, and I think I can crush it.
You and Tommy can crush it, huh?
But
you should be able to. Tesla charging network is better.
I am still nervous.
Okay.
2,500 miles, nonstop. It's not an easy task.
Right.
So
one word: deodorant. Bring lots of deodorant.
I thought you were going to say Red Bull.
No.
But
three of you in that little tiny Tesla Model 3 going across country is going to be really fun. So yeah, go to AllTFL and you'll be able to follow these guys as they try to break mine and Nathan's record. And if you guys want to try to break the electric car or truck cross country record, we'd love to have that. Once again, you start from downtown Orange County in
is it
California? It's Orange. It's Orange County.
Orange.
Downtown Orange County. Yeah, exactly. And Old Orange, it's called. And then you end up in downtown Orange County in Orlando. And there's a fountain in California, there's a fountain in...
You have to touch both.
You have to touch both. That's where it begins and ends. And then, See if you can. Right now, the record is 46-46. We had some friends who tried to break it in the automotive community, and they got caught by a rainstorm. They couldn't do it.
The weather was insane.
But maybe you'll be able to do it. All right. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, check out alltfl.com for all our news, views, and, of course, real-world reviews. See you next time. Ciao.
Thank you.